Hey guys, it's Coffee Break with Damian. If you haven't picked up on the big spoiler that's been in the comic book news this week about an issue that is coming out tomorrow as I speak, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then good for you. You somehow missed the spoiler. Don't be spoiled. Don't listen to the rest of this video. When you find out about the spoiler, I'm sure you'll know the one I'm talking about. So bye-bye, click away. Now for the rest of you, this is Coffee Break with Damian, but I don't mean Damian myself. I mean this Damian from Batman and Robin, Bruce Wayne's son, Damian. As we are all hearing in the spoilers, he's gonna die in this upcoming issue of Batman Inc., written by Grant Morrison, who created Damian. And this may be the first time I feel really bad about a comic book character's death, with the possible exception of Gwen Stacy. But I wasn't really a comic book reader when Gwen Stacy died. I came along after that, but picked up reprint issues that were around at the time. And I always felt really bad about Gwen Stacy's death as a kid. And now I feel really bad about Damian's death as a father. So, one of the questions in my mind is, well, Grant Morrison created Damian, so surely he has the right to kill him off. And in the bigger picture, I stand by creators' rights, but this is an interesting case of, as often happens in comics, characters gain a life of their own well beyond the creator because so many people work on them. And in the case of this Damian, particularly the work of Peter J. Tomasi, who's been writing the Batman and Damian series. The Batman and Robin series. See, I call it Batman and Damian. It's so linked to Damian in my mind. I, in general, have always hated the idea of Robin, and I was resistant to buying a comic book called Batman and Robin. But I heard so many good things about it, I started picking it up, and I fell in love with it. And the reason this Robin really worked for me is, well, there's many reasons why this Robin really... He's a great foil for Batman. He is Batman's son. His existence changes Batman forever. Unlike other changes in comic books, well, I guess they want to undo this change, but this is a real-life change. Anyone who's been a parent, and many people who haven't been parents, can guess part of how it feels. This changes you, and a well-done relationship between a father and son superhero is a powerful thing, and that's what Batman and Robin has been at its best. So I'm really sad to see that go. Excuse me. And, in the comic book medium, the whole, at least these superhero comics that we read, one of the whole appeals of it is the ongoing story, the character that you follow for years and years and years. And I want to keep following Damian. And I want to keep following Batman with Damian. So I feel like Damian is being treated like one of these stories that doesn't really matter, in a sense. You bring in a character, make Batman go through a painful arc, and you can have a painful story, and then return Batman to where he started. But if you're going to be realistic about it, killing Damian is not going to return Batman to where he started. He's going through a tragedy at least as big as the tragedy of losing his parents. I mean, it's hard to say. Losing your parents as a child, losing your child as an adult, those are incredibly powerful experiences. So this should rock Batman to his foundations. And it makes the just recently finished death of the family seem like a joke. Death of the family was the death of the members of his extended Batman family trusting him, at least for a little while. They are a little reluctant to trust him now. That seems to be the whole death of the family. Whereas the real death of his son is going to have powerful, overwhelming effects. It makes the Scott Snyder's Death of the Family beautifully built up as a horrific story into nothing. And it's a shame. It's a shame that, well, I fear that Grant Morrison won't do it justice. I fear that they're going to try to reset Batman to where he was before Damian, and if they do that, I'm going to feel extremely cheated. So yeah, that's my main feeling about this. Normally, you've got the death of a superhero, which we know they're going to come back, or you've got the death of some character that's in the superhero's world, and they may not necessarily come back. They have an effect on the superhero. But I think never has it been the death of a child like this that I can remember. I mean, you have the death of the Robin that went on to become Red Hood, so he came back. And that's powerful stuff because he's like a ward of Batman. But this is his son. It goes really deep. It cuts really deep. And I don't believe that they're going to follow through with it properly. I'm going to drop Batman and Robin because I was reading it for the Batman and Robin Damian relationship. I also liked finally having a Damian whose name was spelled just like my name, Damian, was. Usually they spell it with an E. Not sure why they spelled it with an A. Maybe where Grant Morrison comes from, Scotland, maybe it's more common to spell it with an A there. I'd always thought the A was maybe a Belgium spelling, but I could be even wrong on that. Total aside. I feel like there was a little more I wanted to say about the Batman and Robin. You know, it's hard to lose a character you really like, and I got to be a grown-up about it, but I feel like they're making the wrong decision, that this character became real, not just a little side story of Grant Morrison's to screw around with Batman for a little while. And this just kind of, it's weird that the needs of the creators and the needs of the readers kind of, they intersect, but they're not always together. They kind of intersect in and out. We need good characters that we can care about, and we need them to continue, at least in this serial form of comic books. It's hard for me to care about most of the Robins, but I really care about Damian, and he really makes Batman interesting. So, yeah. I think they're resetting the clock. I think this is what it is. This is their reason. Reset the clock, return Batman to what he was before. But he's not going to be what he was before in my mind. I think this would change his approach to his mission as a crime fighter. It would change his approach to his relationships with other people. It would change his feeling about himself. I think you're gonna spiral into levels of self-hate and self-doubt when your child dies, even when it's totally not your fault. And if part of why Damian dies is because Batman's been putting him into the line of danger by letting him be Robin, then the level of guilt is even higher. I didn't actually read Death in the Family, so I don't know how they handled it and how long the repercussions on Batman lasted. So that's my little take on it right now. I'll probably think of more things I wished I'd said about this, because I thought I had a long laundry list of things to say. There's a good video by David Lee on it, and I'm sure there's other people commenting and making videos on this issue. Talk to y'all later.